What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday, because it's Sunday, the day that I release this, not the day that you sit around on the couch and do nothing. I see you over there. Wake up, wake up. 7 on Sunday is a countdown series where I discuss 7 of a certain thing, whether it be my favorites or my least favorites or just a certain topic, and a lot of times it's viewer requested, so if you would like to suggest an episode, do so in the comment section down below. Thumbs up some of the ones that you like and would like to see turned into an episode in the future. And before I get any comments about the shirt that I'm wearing, I'm doing 7 bands that I don't like anymore, or I don't listen to anymore, or I just simply outgrew. Boys like girls, that's what's on my shirt, for anyone wondering. And no, they didn't make the list. I guess I would consider them an honorable mention, along with people like Good Charlotte, Hollywood Undead. Maybe I'll even throw in a few bonuses in the description. Be sure to check down below my Twitter, Facebook, all that other good stuff, along with my Patreon are linked down there. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, help the episodes like this keep coming, support ARTV and Beyond ARTV, you can check that out. It's the top link in the description. I hope you enjoy the episode. I think this might be the most polarizing or else unexpected entry on this list. The Black Keys are a band that I have reviewed several times, and I've given positive reviews to albums like El Camino. And yeah, if somebody's playing that album, I think it's pleasant enough. I've enjoyed some of their stuff over the years, but over time, I've realized that I have absolutely no urge or desire to listen to them. Ever. Friends and viewers talk about the Black Keys, and I think to myself, oh yeah, I know them, I could get in on this conversation. Then I'm thinking, well, it's been a while, I'm a little rusty on the Black Keys, maybe I should brush up before I dive headfirst into this conversation. And then I realize that I don't want to do that because I don't really want to listen to them for some reason. It's not that they're bad or just totally bland or unentertaining, it's just that every time I think about listening to the Black Keys, I think about listening to something else. And yeah, I could say the same thing for other bands on this list, but this is actively a band that I have definitely enjoyed in recent years and will probably still enjoy if somebody threw on in the background. It's just a weird situation and dilemma where I don't have the desire to go out and check out their stuff. Does anybody else relate to this? I'll never forget the skit that I filmed for my last Papa Roach album review. Introducing Fear, the newest record from Papa Roach, the new metal band with nothing new about them at all. I made myself laugh. I think a lot of you guys enjoyed that as well, and that was pretty much just a signal telling everyone that Papa Roach are one of those bands that I kinda outgrew. Sure, they had some songs that I was into growing up. Every 2004, 2005 kid was into Scars if you were really a true goth or emo or whatever it was. It's been a while. Cut me some slack. Let's just say the novelty wore thin over time, and I looked back on some of these tracks, and while not all awful, I still enjoy Scars a bit. I look back on moments off of Infest and just cringe because of how terrible and just it's so dated is what I'm getting at. You can tell that this is from the early 2000s, and even some of their later moments as well, just trying to cash in on radio rock. And I remember being so eager to hear new Papa Roach material, like around the time of Metamorphosis. I'm thinking of songs like I Almost Told You That I Loved You, and then one that I was just dying to find, I couldn't find the leak of it anywhere online, Hollywood Whore. And it's still a decent song, I suppose, a little bit cliched and formulaic, but I just look back at myself and I'm like, John, were you searching that hard for that song? Really? You could have been looking for anything else. You could have been doing your homework and been making A's instead of straight C's. Ironically enough, 303 are not sitting at number 3 on the list, rather number 5. 303 were a rap, crunkcore, electronic duo that kind of blew up in the late 2000s. I believe it was like 2008, 2009, their album Want dropped, and it was huge. I got so many of my friends into bands like 303, Hollywood Undead, Don't Trust Me was a smash single. And while it's still, I don't like to say guilty pleasure because I don't believe there's such a thing as a guilty pleasure, it kind of is something along those lines because I don't actively seek it out, but if it pops up in my playlist, I'll still listen to it. But I look back on some of these tracks and just the razor thin production and how shoddily a lot of their beats were thrown and shuffled together. Sure, things got a little bit more professional with albums that followed, like Streets of Gold, which went the opposite route and overproduced the fuck out of them and made it less enjoyable as a result. I just look back at the bare bones of their early stuff and I'm thinking, was I really into Choke Chain? Did I really love Holler Till You Pass Out? What is wrong with you? Number 4, I See Stars. I think they're still an active band. I stopped listening to them around the time of release of New Demons, and I really do enjoy songs off of that record. Seriously, I listened to 10,000 Feet or something like that recently. Number 4, I See Stars, and band that I think are still going to this day if I'm not mistaken. I kind of fell off with them after New Demons. I still really like that song off of that album, 10,000 Feet in the Air or whatever it was, like the second song. Great intro to the album, just very powerful, massive guitars. But whenever I look back at most of the material, especially like 3D, the album that got me into them and I thought I was so cool because I had this song with Screaming as my profile song on MySpace, yeah, it's just all lackluster shit, just boring, run-of-the-mill stuff. The vocalists aren't even that solid, especially in their early days. And I remember we all thought, me and my friends, we all thought we were so cool. We were like, oh, this is just like so good, so rebellious, and it's just this awesome rock sound. And I was thinking, you know, looking back, I could have been listening to like AC/DC and Metallica, anything else heavier, and it would have been so much better and would have prepared me more. But hey, life is life, and I guess I have to live with the choices I made. I'm hitting a massive delete on my iTunes over here for the early, at least, I See Stars work. I haven't come back to them in forever anyways. Did you know that Skillet call their fans panheads? That has to be the absolutely worst marketed fan base of all time. Yeah, let me sign up for the Panhead Club. With me going to a Christian school and Skillet being a Christian metal or hard rock band, obviously they were pretty huge in my scene. A lot of friends were into them, even like my youth pastor would recommend Skillet songs. And I guess I was connecting with them for a while. I was like, alright, this is a cool song, Monster and Hero, and then reaching back to their older stuff, like the first song I ever heard from them, which I still think is pretty cool, honestly. Savior. I don't really like all of the lyrics that much, but it's still a pretty hard-hitting song regardless of some of the crappy production on that album, Collide. I just saw through them after a while, and especially with this new stuff that they're coming out with, absolutely pathetic. Skillet are about as risky as cooking with the stove off. You're not getting anything fresh, there's nothing new, there's nothing really pushing anything forward, and as a result, you just kind of feel unsatisfied. Number 2 is the band of vlogger Charles Trippy. He joined them later on, but I actually got into this band, and believe it or not, All Time Low on the exact same day, way back in the day in I think 2008. Guess which band I actually still listen to this day? Hint, it's not We the Kings. Well, if that wasn't a big enough hint for you, We the Kings are just this timid pop act. I don't even want to say alternative or rock because they really don't even have it in their bones anymore. It's just weak pop material, shitty lyrics, shitty production. You can't even hear the bass that Charles Trippy supposedly plays in this band. I tried listening to some of their new singles once he joined the group, and I listened through Somewhere Somehow and like singles like Just Keep Breathing. And I was thinking, is this an electronic project of Travis Clark? Or where are the other members? Where's Coley? Where's Danny Duncan? Because the guys are likable enough, but God, the music is just, it's predictable. I don't know what to tell you. Liking We the Kings, it's just like making a safe bet every single time, not taking the gamble, not taking the risk. That's We the Kings, and I feel like they only still have fans because they all have vlog channels. I can't even imagine being in that tour bus because there's like cameras pointed everywhere at everyone all the time, and they don't realize that none of their content's even interesting. I don't like Simple Plan. I don't. I can't deal with them anymore. I really cannot. In the pop punk scene of the early 2000s, there were some acts that you could tell would wear thin over time. You're like, I probably will not like this into my 20s, into my 30s. But at the time, Simple Plan, I guess, for getting the job done. I remember seeing a Shut Up on the rooftop at like a Nickelodeon event, and I was like, oh, I want to look up more of their stuff. And I connected with some of their songs. I guess I heard like the Car Crash one right after that, Untitled, and I'd Do Anything, and then I got their album No Pads, and then I was just like looking back at that recently and questioning life decisions. It's pop punk at its pop punkiest, and I don't mean that in a good way. In fact, it's quite the insult. The lyrics are razor thin. They are built off of this mindset that they have to fit inside of a certain category, and they have to be super relatable, and they have to have these big, huge, soaring anthems. And I feel like they're still trying to do that to this day, being a pop band at this point, collaborating with Nelly, making awful songs like I Don't Want to Go to Bed, reviewing their last album and giving it a 0. It was just as painful for me as it was for you. Give it up, Simple Plan. No one cares about your music anymore. Maybe it gets played on the radio, but it's in one ear, out the other. There's no depth there, and Simple Plan are easily the #1 spot on the bands that I outgrew. What bands have you found that you've outgrown over time? Let me know your top 5 in the comments section down below, and while you're here, maybe hit the like button on this video. Thanks to everyone that's been liking 7 on Sunday, bumping this series up. I'm just happy to see it getting ratings because I really enjoy making these videos. In fact, it's probably my favorite content that I'm making right now. If you guys have suggestions for future episodes, like I said, let me know in the comment section down below. Thumbs up some of the good ideas that you see, and maybe it'll turn into an episode at some point. I'm thinking up ideas always for new series that I can debut here on Beyond ARTV. If you have any suggestions for what you would like to see me talk about, or maybe a recurring segment or something like that, who you want to see me get on the podcast, let me know with a comment. Thanks for watching and subscribing, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. Other than that, I will see you guys very, very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.